Hey guys, welcome back to the Black Sheep Meadow. I'm Amber.
And I'm Brent.
And today we're getting the garlic in the ground.
Yep.
We're in growing zone 8B in Central Texas, and today is the day we've chosen to get our garlic started for next year.
Yep.
So the kind of rule of thumb is you plant it after Halloween and then you plant it or you harvest it after 4th of July. It's a very long growing season. And this year I've switched it up a little bit, and in the years past I've grown a lot of hardneck variety garlic. This year I'm going to try a couple softneck varieties because I think I'm just fighting Mother Nature.
Yep.
If you don't know a little bit about the two different varieties, your hardneck has one stem. Hardneck, it's got one stem that grows up to the middle, and you have one single row of garlic cloves that grow all the way around it. That stem is where you'll get the scape or the bulb or the flower of the garlic. And a softneck variety, you do not have that. They do not make the bulb, they do not make the scrape. You will have a cluster of kind of random cloves, which makes them harder to peel, but they are easier or better for storing, for long-term storage. And hardneck tends to be a hardier variety that really enjoys cold weather up north. And I think maybe I was thinking our winters are cold to me, but they're not necessarily cold to garlic standards, or your guys' standards. If you guys are up in Wisconsin, y'all's cold winter is not my cold winter. So this year I'm planting two different varieties of softneck and a variety of hardneck, and I am really excited about it. We have to add some soil to these containers, and we're just using, we don't normally use like high-end, high-dollar soil for the garlic beds, but we have these left over from our 6 garden soil experiment that we currently have going with the cabbage, which is coming along great. These bags just happen to be leftover that we purchased for that. And maybe I'm gonna spoil myself and all of a sudden the garlic's gonna do really good, and now we're gonna have to buy really expensive soil.
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes.
We're gonna get y'all on a video coming up on the final of the 6 box store garden soil test, and this is the third video that we've done on box store, our third experiment that we've done on box store garden soils, and this one's been quite interesting. I've learned more through the high-end garden soil process than I did with any of the basic Home Depot Lowe's soils. So.
Right. So majority of our garlic is going to get planted here, but Brent is also going to plant some in the hugelkultur mound, and I'm really interested. We did not do that in years past.
Yeah, so one thing that we found with the hugelkultur mound repeatedly now is that the mound holds a lot of heat, even through what some may consider our mild winters. You know, we've had actually the past 3 or 4 winters now, we've been down into the teens for several days in a row. But so the hugelkultur mound holds a lot of heat, and we have found like our onions did better in the hugelkultur mound than they did in a raised bed. Our squash do better in the hugelkultur mound throughout the summer. It's a totally different growing process than you would expect out of any raised bed or other in-ground garden. So
I'm interested to see how that goes. I will also mention that not only are we adding this soil to it, I also ran some blood meal and just sprinkled it in there to just kind of amend the soil before we did anything else, just to kind of put, garlic is a plant that appreciates high nitrogen. So they love blood meal. Keep that in mind if you're trying to grow garlic. They appreciate that. They also like heavy mulch. So hay or mulch type period,
which is one of the reasons that we have the garlic containers in this area. There's some elm trees here behind us that are going to shed their leaves over the rest of this fall, early winter, and those leaves are going to act like a natural mulch for the garlic. Yes,
and they seem to really appreciate that. So we're going to set y'all up on a time lapse while we amend these, and then we'll get you in while we're actually planting some.
I'm going to show the details on actually planting the garlic cloves.
Oh yeah. Okay. Okay, so that went pretty fast. We've got all of the garlic ready to plant in the ground, but before we got to that step, we wanted to mention a few things with you. When you're planting your garlic and you get it, when I've ordered it, it's always come in a full bulb, and you break it apart, and you break it apart pretty easy. You want to keep the skin on the garlic. So you keep it on the garlic. That's kind of your protector. But I wanted to show you that some of these are already starting to root. Let's see if I can get you closer. I don't know if you'll probably be able to see that. See, they're already starting to root. And that just means that they're ready to go on the ground, which is really exciting. I'm super excited about that. I want to mention that this container here is primarily the Fox Farms. This container right here is primarily the coast of Maine. I'm not really saying that because this is an experiment. I'm saying that for documentation purposes come July. If this bed or this bed does, you know, way better, then I want to know.
From our box store garden soil test, our experiment that we're currently conducting with the cabbage, there is a very large difference in between them.
There is. And there's some things that we want to go over because of the way the soils are, that there might be some discrepancies, things to look at that are very helpful to know, little key, you know, nuggets of information type thing. So we're going to get these planted. The rest of them are going to go into the hugelkultur mound,
which we'll get in a second, but we need to mention too the distance.
Yes, so you can kind of see our spacing here, about 3 inches, but I left a pretty good gap away from the edge of the container. As you know, the heat's going to concentrate in the middle of the container. The outside is going to get cold first. We don't get that drastic of cold, but we're trying to keep it away from that so it's more concentrated to the center of these containers. And then when you plant them, it's the same principle with most seeds. What is it, twice the thickness of the seed is how thick. It's the same kind of principle, and you will put it point up, roots down. And this one's got little roots on it too.
Yep.
So they are ready to go, and I'm excited, and hopefully we'll have them pretty
We'll get these in the ground, then we're going to go over the hugelkultur mound.
Yes.
All right, so here we are at the hugelkultur mounds. We have 2 mounds this year. I built another one over the summer. And we had some noisy turkeys that are fixing to be gone for Thanksgiving and Christmas. But we have the mounds, and I've planted the garlic on top of the mounds. We did this with our onions last year, and it worked extremely well. We're doing the same thing. We're going to do garlic on this mound, onions on that mound, and then we're going to plant squash around the base, which has actually worked phenomenally well.
Right, and we want to take you over to the other hugelkultur mound because the squash that we had told y'all that we lost in the freeze or the frost is still growing.
Yeah.
And it doesn't look bad, and I think we're actually gonna...
It looks like it's making a comeback. Not all the plants made it, but there is a few, so there's a good chance that we will have summer squash after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, which is kind of exciting. So let's head over there and see that real quick.
Yep. All right, so as you can see, the squash on the side of this hugelkultur mound, which is actually going to be a west-facing side of the mound, is doing phenomenally well after the freeze. The plants do have some substantial damage, but we do have a lot of blooms, and we've actually got some vegetables, some patty pan squash that are starting to come off this plant. So this is going to be quite interesting. Yep. And as we got a bumblebee fixing to pollinate for us right now. Maybe Amber will get some B-roll for us.
Yeah, there we go. But it's just a really exciting thing that we thought this was completely lost. We thought this was a lost cause. We were actually coming over here to pull all of this out and get ready for the winter and then spring stuff, just trying to prep it up. And lo and behold, we still have a chance at some vegetables off of this, so we're gonna let it go.
So this is all part of the system, you know, our system. We've gotten off the main system and started our own. And this is what we're trying to encourage y'all to do. And like every week, I encourage y'all to, you know, get off the system, become ungovernable, you know, be self-sufficient, do things for yourself.
Yeah, and you know, let us know what you guys are doing for, you guys, are you starting to get ready for springtime now? Or do you wait a little bit longer? Up north, it might be different. They might have to wait.
Yeah.
So it's exciting for us.
And,
It's a good time of year.
leave us a comment. Let us know, how are y'all's fall crops? How are y'all doing y'all's garlic? Do y'all see anything that y'all are more successful with than us? Some techniques, whatever. Leave them down in the comments below. Well, I'll reply to you.
Yep.
We'll see y'all next week.
We'll see you next week.